Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here, and let's continue with the Players Cup for Latin America Regionals Qualifier. Today we have round 4. This time I'm facing an opponent from Brazil, and this opponent was actually a player that made top 4 in the first Players Cup like a year ago. So yeah, it's gonna be definitely a good set to watch, and he's using a really cool team. His team, like all the team sheet from all my opponents from all these rounds are gonna be on the description down below. But you can also see the items and the Pokemon on the left side of your screen. He is using a Venusaur with Kova Berry, and the Venusaur has Leaf Storm Sludge and Air Power Sleep Powder. No surprise there. Tapu Fini with Leftovers. It has a Calm Mind, Muddy Water, Dazzling Gleam, and Protect, no Moonblast. Incineroar with Citrus Berry, Standard, just Fake Up, Harden Shot, Taunt, Flare Blitz. Torkoal with an Assault Vest, which I felt it was like really interesting. Burn and Jealousy, your option. Air Power, Body Press on Torkoal. Regieleki with Focus Sash, just Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Electro Whip, and Protect. And one of the best looking Pokemon in the entire game, in my opinion, Mamoswine. Mamoswine with Icicle Crash, Rock Slide, High Horsepower, and Protect with a Life Orb. So there is no Ice Shard, for example, in that Mamoswine, so it's very interesting. Also has just like Double Stab and Rock Slide for coverage. And of course, I continue using my team with Regieleki, Life Orb, Indeedee, Landers, Fini, Urshifu, and Incineroar. So one quick thing, guys, to mention is that like I made a mistake when recording this set on Saturday, which is basically that I forgot to click a record. So I actually didn't record the beginning of game 1. So I just began to record when I realized. I was like, oh, Paul, you're not recording. So click the record button, and it was already turn 2 of game 1. So I don't have team preview for game 1, and unfortunately I also don't have turn 1 for game 1, but I'm going to explain to you a little bit the context so you guys can understand what happened. So I just led with Landers and Indeedee. I felt Landers is really good against Sun in general, and even though this opponent had Mamoswine, with Indeedee I can go for redirection, you know, just like follow me, Swords Dance, and then I can have Urshifu and Tapu Fini in the back, because Landers can put a lot of pressure on its entire team. Of course, if protected correctly with Indeedee and whatnot, like Follow Me, Swords Dance is very strong. And if he goes like Venusaur with something, I can go for a Dynamax if I need to, just follow me, whatever. And I had, as I said, Urshifu and Tapu Fini in the back. My opponent actually decided to go for a Mamoswine Regieleki lead on game 1. And yeah, so basically he leads Mamoswine Regieleki in front of my Landers and Indeedee lead. I just went for a Follow Me Swords Dance, as I was basically expecting from Team Preview. And he went for a Volt Switch and a Max Quake into the Indeedee. So basically Indeedee went down in turn 1. He Volt Switch out, so he brought Incineroar as a switch in. So Incineroar intimidated my Landers. I went for a Swords Dance, so I'm only +1, not +2. And he got the 1-hit KO on the Indeedee with the combination of Volt Switch and Max Quake from its Mamoswine, because he Dynamaxed the Mamoswine. So now I lose Indeedee. I bring Urshifu at the beginning of turn 2. So the beginning of turn 2 is Urshifu and a +1 Landers against Incineroar and a Dynamax Mamoswine, which already attacked the previous turn with its Dynamax. So it only has 2 more turns of Dynamax. So basically in this context, I can just close combat Max Airstream / Max Quakes the Mamoswine and get the knockout. But I'm also aware of what kind of opponent I'm facing. So I'm expecting a potential Max Guard on a Mamoswine and do something with Incineroar, Parting Shot, Switch Out, whatever. So instead of attacking the Mamoswine, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to double into the Incineroar with close combat. Incineroar cannot fake out the Urshifu right away because Indeedee set up the Psychic Terrain on turn 1, so he doesn't have a way to fake out the Urshifu, because the Psychic Terrain is just going to block the fake out. So I can just close combat their Incineroar slot. Potentially, it's just going to pick up the knockout because Incineroar didn't intimidate Urshifu, since Urshifu basically switched in after Incineroar was there, because the Volt Switch happened mid-turn, basically, in turn 1. So I just double into the Incineroar, close combat, and Airstream that slot. Actually, I think I Quake. Yeah, Quake that slot, expecting the Max Guard, basically. And yeah, that's what is going to happen now. I'm going to click, like, play now on the video so you guys can see. And it's basically what you're going to see. You're going to see my Landers Dynamaxing, and then the game is just gonna begin. So there's a Landers Dynamax. Again, there's the Mamoswine. I'm expecting a Max Guard. There is a Max Guard. My opponent went for a max guard as I was covering. You see a Tapu Fini here because he just brought in Incineroar and switched out immediately at the beginning of the turn. So Tapu Fini switched in, and the close combo that was intended to attack the Incineroar now hit the Tapu Fini, did like 25%, and this is going to be a guaranteed one-hit KO, of course, from that range. It's a +1 max quick from Landers, and I called the max card correctly, basically. So turn 1 was for him. He just got the one-hit KO on the Indeedee, which is normally part of the plan. You know, you just bring Indeedee to follow me and allow your opponent, your partner, to set up a Sword Sense or a Calm Mind, or just like go for a really powerful attack with Regieleki, for example. So Indeedee going down turn 1 was not that was not a big deal for me. But now I got the turn 2 correct. I predicted the max guard, and I doubled into the Incineroar, which he switched out into Fini, so Fini just went down immediately. Now he brings the Incineroar again, and now my Landers is back to neutral attack because it's the second time Incineroar is on the field. So basically, the Sword Sense is now gone, the Sword Sense boost. So here, now he can fake out Incineroar, because in turn 1 he couldn't because the Psychic Terrain was up. Because he brought the Fini, now the Misty Terrain is up, so he can very well just go for a fake out into the Urshifu if he wants. So I'm just going to switch out the Urshifu. I don't want my Sash to be broken. I'm going to bring Tapu Fini, and I'm going to max guard because I have the Dynamax advantage since I went for Dynamax on turn 2 and he went for Dynamax turn 1. So this is the last turn of their Dynamax, basically. There's a fake out into the Urshifu slot, no surprise there, and we should see a max Hailstorm. Yeah, there's a max Hailstorm into a max guard, so Landers protects from that. That would have been a clean one-hit KO, of course. I didn't, of course, attack the Mamoswine turn 2. Not because I didn't care about the max Hailstorm, because I was predicting him to max guard. Otherwise, he could just lose Mamoswine immediately with close combat and a max move from Landers. Now, I'm just going to go for a attack, I think. Muddy Water. I could go for a Moonblast into the Mamoswine Airstream. I could also expect my opponent to predict me to not attack the Mamoswine yet again. But I just don't think it's worth it, to be honest. I'm just gonna go for the attack into the Mamoswine and just a Muddy Water. I could go for a Moonblast because Muddy Water can miss, but in case he protects, I also want to do some damage to the Incineroar, you know, because I have an Urshifu in the back, so Incineroar at some point can intimidate me, so close combat is not gonna be enough at full health. So I need to do some damage to the Incineroar as well. Mamoswine doesn't protect. This time, I'm attacking that slot. Let's see if Muddy Water just finishes Mamoswine, and it should do a little bit to Incineroar. Muddy Water misses, but into the Incineroar. Okay, that was risky. That was risky. I know. But I wanted to do some damage into the Incineroar as well. And there's Incineroar. It's going for a Pine Shot into the Tapu Fini. I mean, I missed the Muddy Water. Muddy Water would have been probably like, what, like 35% Incineroar, 40%. So it's not a big deal, but I really was hoping to do some damage because I wanted to put it in range. But it doesn't matter. Regieleki is here now again, because remember, as I was explaining at the beginning of the video, Regieleki was there on turn 1 and he went for a Bolt Switch into my Indeedee. So now the game is down to 3 versus 2. Because Fini's gone and Mamoswine is gone. Incineroar is back yet another time on the field. So this guy really knows how to use Incineroar. He just brought Incineroar in turn 1 and switched out immediately, then brought Incineroar again, Pine Shot to bring Incineroar again. And my Landers, which was supposed to be boosted, it's -1 now because of all the times Incineroar has been brought to the field. So now I'm just going to go for a Protect Earthquake. No reason not to. Regieleki cannot touch Landers. It literally doesn't have any attack to touch it. All Regieleki's moves are electric. Electro Web. And there's no fake out from Incineroar, so I suppose he's just going for a Flare Blitz. I mean, probably he wants to get like a critical hit from Flare Blitz or something. Just some damage. Basically, yeah, Landers -1, so I'm not even able to bring Eleki down to Sash. But it doesn't matter because Eleki was Sash anyway, so it was not going to go down. And 50% roughly to Incineroar. He recovers with the Citrus Berry. There's a Flare Blitz into the Landers. Did like 50%, 52, 55. So even with a crit, that wouldn't have been enough because crits do 50% more. So 50% of 50% would have been 75. So yeah, Landers would have survived even a critical hit. So now I could just go for literally Muddy Water. I don't even have to click Muddy Water. I'm just going to click Moonblast Earthquake into the Incineroar slot because Muddy Water can miss. So I don't want my opponent to have any chance. I even have Urshifu in the back, so this game is over basically. Electro Web, no Thunderbolt. Probably he didn't want to like reveal how much damage Thunderbolt was gonna do to Tapu Fini, I guess. I don't get like why you would Electro Web there. I'm probably hoping that Incineroar is faster than Fini, but there's probably no reason to. Yeah, but Fini is still faster, so Moonblast into the Incineroar, and that should be enough. Yeah, so we win game 1. We are now 1-0 into this set. Let me update the score. We are 1-0. For me, I won game 1 pretty consistently. I mean, I had to predict that turn 2 Max Guard from the Mamoswine, but the plan was like good. He didn't bring Venus or Torkoal. He decided to go for a Mamoswine Regieleki combo turn 1, game 1. So let's see if he just decides to change for game 2, and probably we're gonna see the Venusaur this time around. So now there we are on team preview. I think I can just go for the same, to be honest. I can just go for a Landorus Indeedee lead. Try to set up a Swords Dance. I guess you can switch like this time to the Venusaur mode, which can put more pressure with Sleep Powder shenanigans into the Indeedee, or just Dynamax immediately. It's Kova Berry though, so there's no way for me to get the knockout, even if I decide to go for a, let's say, Helping Hand Max Airstream or something into a Dynamax Venusaur. There's no way for me to get the knockout, so Venusaur is safe at least for one turn. But I think regardless, I'm just gonna go the same. Like Indeedee Landorus with Urshifu Fini. It worked out the previous game. Incineroar is someone that you can normally bring to the Sun matchup. But the fact that he has Mamoswine, I'm not sure. And I kind of want the other mons. So, yeah, I'm just going to pass. Incineroar is not going to be brought to this game yet again. I think the 4 that I brought did like a pretty good job. So let's see. Game 2 of this round 4 of Latin American Players Cup 4 Regionals Qualifier. Let's see what we have. Is he going to actually change? Yep. There it is. Tapu Fini and Venusaur this time around. No Regieleki, no Mamoswine, at least in the front. Landorus Shiny from my Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire games. Getting intimidated off, that doesn't matter, of course, against 2 special attackers. Misty Terrain is going to be first, and Psychic Terrain is going to be second. So that's good. I mean, kind of. Because now he can just put my Indeedee to sleep, I guess. Is he really going to go for a Sleep Powder? That's the question. I don't think so. I don't think he can afford to do that, to be honest. I have Urshifu and Tapu Fini in the back. Let's see. I don't think I can afford to Swords Dance this time around, because the Tapu Fini is clearly here to stop me from doing that. Because if I Swords Dance, that means that I'm not Dynamaxing, so he can just Muddy Water me for a lot of damage. And he can even, you know, just Max Zeus with Venusaur or Muddy Water or something. So yeah, I don't want that. I'm just going to Helping Hand Max Quake the Fini. He actually switched out the Venusaur for Incineroar just to get an Intimidate off. So it's going to hinder my Landorus damage output. But I have Helping Hand, so I guess this Max Quake, even a -1 with Helping Hand, should do around 50 to 60-ish to Tapu Fini. Let's see. Dynamax Landorus is on your screen, and I guess I don't think we are gonna see a Protect from Tapu Fini. It wouldn't make much sense because I could just Swords Dance. So I think we're gonna see an attack. Let's see. Helping Hand comes out. Let's see if he protects or not. Nope, no protect. Max Wake into the Tapu Fini slot. I'm expecting something around like 50 to 60%. Yeah, 60%, and we're increasing our special defense also with Landorus, so we are gonna be taking less damage from Muddy Water if he goes for it. Yeah, there's a Muddy Water. He could have Calm Mind, I guess, but if I Swords Dance and he Calm Mind, I don't think he wins that much. Accuracy drop into the Landorus. It doesn't matter as a Dynamax, but it could matter after my Dynamax ends. So now we have a very interesting turn. I could just Helping Hand Max Quake the Fini again. But if I do that, he's just going to protect Fini, right? I mean, he could just attack Fini, I guess. So I'm just going to go for a Helping Hand Max Quake into the Incineroar that I know is the slot that cannot protect. Incineroar does not have protect. And we actually see an Incineroar switch out into a Torkoal. Torkoal, which is Assault Vest, by the way. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Helping Hand, Max Quake into the Torkoal. Is that going to be enough on -1? But I think it should be enough. Let's see. Oh yeah, it actually is enough. Okay, so Torkoal is gone. Is that a critical hit? No. No critical hit. Feeny didn't protect actually, so probably my opponent was just like sacking Feeny, I guess, so he can like have a free switch into Venusaur. Goes for the Muddy Water, surprisingly, in the sun, I mean, and that did more. Oh yeah, that was a critical hit. That did more than what I was suspecting, to be honest. Another accuracy drop now into the Indeedee slot. Remember that this Tapu Fini has Dazzling Gleam. It doesn't have Moonblast, which is very interesting. Very interesting. Incineroar again, no Venusaur yet. This is my last turn of Dynamax, I think. Yeah. One more turn of Dynamax. I'm gonna switch out Indeedee because I want to give my Tapu Fini a max Quake boost from special defense. I suppose he's gonna protect Fini this time around, since he didn't protect last time. To be fair, I could attack Incineroar, but any damage into the Tapu Fini is good, considering that I have Urshifu in the back. So even if he protects, like, any damage on the Tapu Fini is good damage. Misses Terrain is up now. No Psychic Terrain. Let's see if we see a Protect. No Protect. Okay. No Protect. I'm not doing much damage because Lander's now -3, I think, or -2, I don't remember. Muddy Water, yet again, is doing literally no damage. In the sun, Quake Boost. And Incineroar goes for a taunt into the Indeedee slot, so he wanted to stop me from going for Follow Me or Help Me Hand the next turns. Which is a good play, I think, of course. My Tapu Fini's leftovers activate first, so I'm faster than his Tapu Fini. That's good to confirm. Lander's Dynamax ends, so now I can just go for a... I could go for Swords Dance, I guess, but he could just go for a Flare Blitz into my Landers. So I don't think going for a Swords Dance actually is worth it. So I'm gonna go for a Fly into the Incineroar slot just because I want some damage. Yeah, and Tapu Fini is gonna protect. I cannot even Calm Mind with my Tapu Fini because I'm taunted. So I'm gonna go for a Fly into the Incineroar slot because he can, in theory, switch out with Parting Shot. There's a Parting Shot, but he tried to go for a Parting Shot into the Landers because that makes sense because he knows that my Landers cannot protect, I guess, but Tapu Fini also cannot protect because I'm taunted. So he could have a Parting Shot into either slot. Yeah, so now I'm gonna go for Moonblast, hoping that the Moonblast is enough to get the knockout on that Tapu Fini. Fly doesn't do that much damage, 25% probably. Moonblast, is Moonblast enough to pick up the knockout? It is not. Attack, special attack drop though. Dazzling Gleam shouldn't do much. Yeah, it's just Tapu Fini is doing no damage, like literally no damage. Parting Shot into my Tapu Fini actually. Okay. Now, of course, we have to see the Venusaur, which is the last one. There's the Venusaur. So now, I think we have 1 or 2 more turns of Sun. Because Starkle went in, it died, he brought Incineroar, tried to Parting Shot, and then probably 1 more turn or 2, I'm not sure. 1 more turn, okay. Taunt ended on my end. So I'm gonna protect Tapu Fini. I hope he Dynamaxes now. I probably it's time for him to Dynamax and go for Bylast or something. Landers -3 attack, I think, so I'm just gonna switch out the Landers for Indeedee. And protect my Tapu Fini. I think that play makes sense to me. If he Dynamaxes now, I suppose he's gonna go for the Tapu Fini, right? So I can have Indeedee for the next turn, go for like a Follow Me, Calm Mind or something. And it's gonna be okay. He switches out Tapu Fini into Incineroar again, getting rid of the drops. Incineroar getting another Intimidate, this time into 2 special attackers, so it doesn't matter. No Dynamax though, so Venusaur's actually not Dynamax. Is he going for a Sleep Powder? No, just Sludge Bomb into my Lander slot actually. So he predicted that because my Landers was +3 special defense, and Landers is a ground type, so it resists poison. So had I just stayed in, I would have taken no damage from the Sludge Bomb, literally. And I could have protected Earthquake, I guess. But the pressure of the G-Max, Bindlash, or just the Dynamax in general was huge for me, so I didn't want to like risk it. But a good play from my opponent. He just went for a Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb. So now we see the Dynamax. Venusaur is Dynamaxing now. I suppose he's just gonna go for Bindlash. Yeah, follow me here. I'm gonna go for a Calm Mind with Tapu Fini, and it's good to confirm that my Tapu Fini is actually faster than my opponent's Venusaur without Sun. This Tapu Fini, as I said in the first video, had a lot of speed. Is way faster than normal. And it was good to confirm because this Venusaur is Culver Berry, so normally you expect the Venusaur to be a bulky when you see Culver Berry. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but they don't normally are max speed, and my Tapu Fini is actually faster. So that's good to confirm also. Power Shot into the Fini, so my Calm Mind like probably just didn't work. His Tapu Fini is back to the field. And the Bindlash are gonna do the job. Yep. I'm recovering some health with lefties, which is good. But now I have 2 Merchants of Dynamax to face, 3 turns of G-Max Bindlash also to stall. And I still have a Sash Urshifu and a Landers. What do I bring now is a question. Do I just bring Landers and fly? I think I just do that, right? I just bring Landers. Is it worth to bring Urshifu? I don't think it's worth. I could just bring Landers. I'm faster. I could just fly to stall Dynamax turn and go for a Calm Mind or Protect with Tapu Fini or something. So, I mean, his Venusaur has Culver Berry, so the fly is not going to do that much damage. But just to avoid, like, you know, I can fly even the Tapu Fini slot, I guess. Just avoid the Bindlash or any max move. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for a fly. I mean, fly is kind of obvious. You can predict that and just don't waste the attack into the Lander slot. So I changed my mind and I'm just gonna go for a Protect Earthquake because I think the fly is quite obvious. And considering how we've been playing this game, probably he's just gonna go for the Tapu Fini slot because he can just wait his Dynamax turn if he attacks a flying Landers. His Tapu Fini actually also protects. His Tapu Fini just protected. Protect Earthquake is gonna do a good chunk. Yeah, 25%. Maxes into the Tapu Fini, I suppose. Actually, it's into the Landers. Was that a misclick? I don't think that play makes much sense to me, to be honest, because if I fly, he maxes into nothing and wastes 1 turn. But I guess he predicted me. I mean, it's fair, of course. I think maxes into the Tapu Fini is way better if you want, like, you know, just a boost. But probably he just predicted me, which is totally fine, of course. Okay, so that turn was actually quite bad for me. I could have just fly and keep Landers for another turn. Okay. So, what do I do here? I can just, like, protect Calm Mind? Do I protect with Urshifu? Again, the protect is kind of obvious. Okay, he's switching out the Tapu Fini for Incineroar. I think I misplayed here. I should have just close combat the Tapu Fini. Yeah, close combat does the same to Tapu Fini. Is the same as Wiki Blow because it resists both, and they have the same power, factor the crit. So if he brings Incineroar close combat, it's gonna be better because close combat can do around 70% Incineroar, even a -1. So yeah, close combat was better. That was a misplay. I just probably thought too fast. And let's see if he attacks the Fini now. Calm Mind. I mean, If he's bringing Incineroar, I suppose he's attacking just the Urshifu, because he can go for a fake out the next turn, because he's expecting my protect here. And yeah, he's just attacking the Urshifu. Okay. I guess I should have protected, but I don't think that mattered because he switched out Feeny for Incineroar. So even if I protected, he can just fake out the Urshifu next turn and just attack with Venusaur. And factoring the damage through protect, factoring the his +1 also because the previous turn's max ooze, factoring the Divine Lash, Urshifu's probably just gone. So yeah, it's a pretty rough endgame for me. Losing Landers was not great. Tapu Fini is +3 special defense though, so at least there's that, but I'm not even boosted on the special attack. I'm faster than the Venusaur, which is also good, I guess. Let's go for a protect. Fake out into my Tapu Fini, of course. I'm just gonna solve the last turn of the Bailash. And I guess my only win condition now is going for Muddy Water, getting an accuracy drop on the Venusaur, so Venusaur like misses all its attacks, I guess. That's my only win condition. Yeah, losing Urshifu, losing Landers was really bad for this endgame. So props to him, he played really well this game too. He's a really good player, of course. So now, I'm just gonna go for the Muddy Water. Like, I don't see any other way I can win this if I want to have a shot. So I'm gonna Muddy Water. I'm missing something, I guess. Okay, the Incineroar, I mean, the damage on the Incineroar was also good. Don't get me wrong. Like 30-40% damage is always good into Incineroar. But there is a accuracy drop, though. Sludge Bomb, does it miss? No, it doesn't miss. It's doing a lot. Parting Shot, no Flare Blitz. Just Parting Shots to bring his Feeny and just begin the Calm Mind War. Yeah, that's probably game over, like, to be honest. I needed the Venusaur to miss the Sludge Bomb if I wanted to have a shot. But I got the accuracy drop, but I didn't, like, get the miss. Yeah, there's Tapu Fini now. I'm recovering health with lefties, but at this point, again, I just need the Venusaur to miss like 3 Sludge Bombs in a row. And I'm just gonna go for a Calm Mind again to increase my special attack, because remember that the Incineroar just Party Shot me, so I'm like -1, I think. Or neutral, something like that. +3 special defense is nice, but it's probably just not gonna be enough. I need the Venusaur to miss. And it's -1 accuracy, so let's see. I'm faster than everything here. Dazzling Gleam. And a Sludge Bomb. Okay. Yeah. He doesn't miss, and that's game. So we are tied now. 1 win for each player. 1-1. We're getting into Game 3, guys. Game 3 of this round 4 of the Players Cup Latin America Regionals Qualifier. So he basically didn't bring the Mammoth this time around. He just brought Torkoal, Venusaur, Incineroar, Feeny. And he brought Mammoth Game 1, and it just didn't work that well for him. So, do I go for Regieleki now? You might ask why. Because Regieleki can deal with Torkoal if I max, can deal with Feeny, can deal with Incineroar. I think I'm going to go for a Regieleki game this time around. But of course, I cannot ignore the fact that he has Mamoswine. So I have to bring something for the Mamoswine. So that's why I'm thinking Landorus Feeny this time around. But I guess Urshifu also makes sense because Urshifu close combats the Mamoswine. So yeah, it's not going to be another Dynamax, but if you remember on round 1, I didn't bring Regieleki for game 3. My opponent didn't bring Marowak because my opponent in that round had Marowak. And I just regretted not bringing Regieleki. So I'm thinking that probably I can do this time. I can do it this time around. And to be completely honest, also Mamoswine is not immune to Max Strike. So at least I can Max Strike it. And yeah, I think I'm just going to go for the Urshifu actually. Indeed, Regieleki as the lead and Feeny and Urshifu in the back, I guess. If anything, I could just Max Strike the Mamoswine. That's the main thing. So I'm thinking he's not gonna bring the Mammoth Swine based on what happened in game 2. He didn't bring it and he just won. So probably he needs all its mods. Like he needs the Venusaur, he needs the Tapu Fini, he needs Incineroar and the Torkoal. But I guess he can make like a plan for game 3 that involves bringing the Mammoth Swine. Who knows? I'm just gonna go with Lecky and Didi. I think that lead covers a lot of things. There's the Venusaur Tapu Fini. I suppose if he's bringing Venusaur, there should be a Torkoal in the back. I mean, you can just bring Venusaur without Torkoal, of course, but I don't see him in this matchup at least not bringing Torkoal if he brings Venusaur, to be honest. Okay. If Torkoal's in the back, the last one should be Incineroar or Mammoth Swine. Or Regieleki even. Should I Dynamax Regieleki here? That's the question. Just go for a max line into a Tapu Fini? I think I'm gonna go for that. But what if he brings Mammoth Swine in that slot? I think actually I'm gonna go for Max Strike into the Venusaur and Helping Hand or Mystical Fire. He could switch out Tapu Fini into Torkoal and go for like Max Quake or something. Or Sleep Powder. Nah, I'm just gonna go for a Follow Me. I'm gonna play safe. Follow Me and Max Strike. Tapu Fini switches out into Mammoth Swine. Let's see. Into Incineroar. Okay, so that almost confirms that there's no Mammoth Swine because, let's be honest, if you have Mammoth Swine in the back, in front of a Regieleki, Life Orb, and Indeedee lead, you kind of have to bring it, in my opinion. If you don't bring it, that means you probably don't have it for this game. Which makes sense, considering Sai said that he won game 2 without bringing Mammoth Swine, and he brought Mammoth Swine game 1 and it just didn't work that well for him. So I'm gonna go for a Max Strike into the Venusaur. Like, is he maxing the Venusaur or not? I suppose he's maxing the Venusaur. Max Quake probably, or just Byleth? No Dynamax? Is he actually just clicking Sleep Powder in my face? I mean, if I Dynamax and Max Line in the Fini slot, I'm gonna set up Electric Terrain, your Sleep Powder's not gonna work. I don't get this play from him. Is he actually clicking Sleep Powder? Yep, he's clicking Sleep Powder. No fears. Like, I would have just Max Line in the Fini slot, set up Electric Terrain, and Sleep Powder would have been just, you know, wasted. But I guess he predicted me. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like, the Venusaur took like 60%, a little bit more probably. So I could just Max Strike again. I mean, I'm just gonna Max Lightning than Incineroar, to be honest. I think that slot is free. I cannot Helping Hand anymore, unfortunately, but I'm gonna bring Urshifu, I guess. I don't want Indeedee to be just dead weight because it's you know, it's asleep. So I'm gonna switch out Indeedee. Bring Urshifu so I can pressure things with like Wiki Blow next turn or Close Combat. He switches out the Venusaur into Torkoal. What? Oh, he wants the Sun to go for a Flare Blitz into my Regieleki, the Sun. That's smart. But is Incineroar? It's in. I was gonna say, is Incineroar gonna survive the Max Line in the first place? And apparently, yes, he's gonna survive the Max Line because he decided to Dynamax Incineroar with the Torkoal switching to set up the Sun, so he's gonna go for a Sun boosted Max Flare into my Regieleki. Wow. What a play. This completely changed my plan. Max Lightning into a Dynamax Incineroar. Let's see. It wouldn't have been enough to pick up the knockout without Dynamax though because it didn't do more than 50%. It did almost 45, I guess. And I suppose this is gonna be a Max Fight into the Regieleki. Yep, into the Regieleki. Is Regieleki enough? Is that enough? Oh, Eleki survives. Regieleki wasn't strong enough to survive that. So now, Electric Terrain is up, even though the Torkoal is a Sub-S. This is a Life Form, 140 base power, Max Lightning, Electric Terrain boosted. So there's no way Torkoal survives it. There's no way, even with the Sub-S. There's no way it survives. So I'm just gonna Max Lightning the Torkoal, Close Combat, Incineroar. I don't see a reason not to do that. Yeah, Torkoal goes down with a critical hit that I don't think it matters. Like, I don't think the crit mattered. And Close Combat into the Incineroar slot, that should be enough. Oh, it actually is not. Wow. What's that? 1 HP survival. Incineroar, it's the citrus berry. And now I suppose he's just gonna get rid of the Regieleki, right? Oh, he goes into the Urshifu. Oh, wow. Was he predicting my max scar or something? I mean, I could have max scar, I guess, but I had Electric Train and I could just attack. I could have just attacked the Incineroar slot to get rid of it. Or just attack the Torkoal slot to get rid of it. So, I didn't want to max guard. Okay, so Venusaur is here. My Regieleki is almost dead, but it's still useful because that Tapu Fini is in the back and I have Rising Voltage. So I'm just gonna save Eleki here, but what do I do? I have to save Eleki. So I'm gonna switch out into what? Into Indeedee is like Indeedee is useless now, but the problem is if I bring Indeedee, I'm gonna set up Psychic Terrain, so I cannot Sucker Punch the Venusaur. I need to save Eleki for the Fini that is in the back. So I'm gonna bring my Fini to not set up Psychic Terrain, and I'm gonna Sucker Punch the Venusaur, and hope that's enough. Hope that is enough. Let's see though. Also, who's faster, the Venusaur or my Regieleki? I mean, I think I should be faster because he's bulky, but I just didn't want to die with Regieleki. Because if I go for an attack, I die to my own life for recoil. Let's see. Sucker Punch into the Venusaur slot. He switches out the Venusaur. That's a good play. Yep. So Sucker Punch is gonna be wasted into the Tapu Fini. Yep. And he's going for a Max Strike actually. Into the Regieleki slot, which is now a Tapu Fini. Max Strike based Fake Out. But it's smart because that drops my speed, so now it's Tapu Fini should outspeed my Urshifu and my Tapu Fini. And he has Dazzling Gleam, so we can just Dazzling Gleam here. Incineroar is also -1, so Incineroar is not going to outspeed anything here. Because of the Max Strike turn 1. I think Indeedee is useless now, so I can just sack Indeedee. I think the play I have to go for is just switch out Fini for Indeedee and protect Urshifu. That covers almost everything. He could go for a Power Shot into the Fini slot, so it's going to be a Power Shot into the Indeedee. Or he can just double into the Fini with like Dazzling Gleam Flare Blitz. And I'm fine with that because if he Flare Blitz, the combination of Dazzling Gleam Flare Blitz should be enough to get rid of Indeedee. And that gives me a free switch into Tapu Fini. To Tapu Fini or to Eleki actually. Let's see what he does. Dazzling Gleam Parent Shot or Dazzling Gleam... I don't think he can afford to Calm Mind here. I mean, he could. Yeah, Dazzling Gleam into the Indeedee. Shouldn't do much. Yeah, 25%. There's a Flare Blitz into the Tapu Fini, doubling into it. It's doing a lot of damage, but it's not enough to get rid of Indeedee. And that's actually bad. It's actually bad because I want Indeedee gone because Indeedee is not doing anything here. It cannot wake up this turn because I never spend my guaranteed turn of sleep. This is coming down to the wire. What do I do here? I have Psychic Terrain. I have Fini and Regieleki in the back. I think I could just switch out Indeedee for Fini to get rid of the Psychic Terrain and Sucker Punch the Venusaur. There's a counterplay for that, which is just Sleep Powder. Even if it misses because of Misty Terrain, he blocks the Sucker Punch that way. Let's see if he goes for that. I still have Regieleki in the back, I guess. And Sun is gonna end soon, right? So once Sun is over, Tapu Fini outspeeds Venusaur, so I can just Calm Mind. Okay, but he doesn't go for this Sleep Powder, and Sucker Punch is enough. Venusaur is gone. He's going for another Dazzling Gleam. That is enough, of course, to get rid of the Urshifu. That did more damage than... Oh, yeah, that was a critical hit. I was going to say that did more damage than what I was expecting on Tapu Fini. And yeah, Sun is over. So, technically, I still had a solid chance of winning this endgame, even if my opponent went for a Sleep Powder, because yeah, he went for a Sleep Powder to block the Sucker Punch. He gets rid of Urshifu, but now I have a Tapu Fini and a Regieleki, and my Tapu Fini is faster than the Venusaur, so I could just Moonblast the Venusaur and protect Regieleki, and then the next turn I Moonblast again and Rising Voltage the Fini, so I win. Unless he Calm Minds with Fini that turn 1 of Regieleki being on the field. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for a Rising Voltage now. That should be enough. This is Life Orb, this is Modest. Yeah, it's enough to pick up the knockout on Tapu Fini, and we win Game 2, guys. That was a really intense set. I'm really happy to have been able to play this like really intense set against this opponent from Brazil. Good game to him. We are now 3 wins and 1 loss on our Players Cup record. So yeah, that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for being here and for watching this video. We're gonna continue with the next episode with round 5, and so far we're 3-1, 3 wins, 1 loss, and I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying this series. And yeah, leave a like if you did. Until next time, guys, have a great day. See you. Peace.